This commercial plane was completely ready for landing, but a few minutes before the runway, this accident happened meters away. A bird came loudly on the cockpit screen. It was fortunate that the screen was not broken and the plane was safely landed, but not all ships have such happy fate. Flight 1549 of U.S. Airways was all ready for takeoff at New York Airport, and the day was 15th January 2009, and it was 25 minutes past 3 in the afternoon. After a minute the plane successfully took off and the pilot sent the news of takeoff through the control tower as per the routine. This ship was a 320 of Airbus in which 150 passengers and 5 crew members were present. For the next 2 minutes, the plane kept gaining muscle cell altitude, but at an altitude of 2,818 feet, the pilot saw a huge flock of Canada geese coming his way. Time was very short and turning the ship was not possible under any circumstances. Then happened what no pilot wants to face in his life. These birds not only collided with the plane, but the powerful turbo engine sucked them inside. Normally, in such a situation, the engine of the plane fails, and with the help of another engine, the plane can be landed at the nearest airport. But in the case of Flight 1549, the birds were sucked into both the engines of the ship, and unfortunately at a height of only 2,800 feet the ship had now lost the power of both its engines. Seeing their position and altitude, the pilots courageously controlled the plane and got the ship landed in the Hudson River. The boards present on the spot immediately came near the plane and all the passengers and crew were rescued. This accident is also remembered by the name of the Miracle on the Hudson, and this was the first and probably the last such incident in aviation history, in which there was not even a single casualty due to engine out at such a low altitude. Despite so much technology, airports around the world have not been able to find any specific solution to this issue. Even then it was a whole flock of birds. Even a small bird can cause some damage to the whole ship. And not only birds, but when planes are at the airport, many accidents have been reported during loading and unloading, in which the jet engine pulls anything close to it. Let us tell you here that before the jet engine, thrust was generated by putting propellers on the piston engine on the ships. There was some problem with these normal engines, that it could not generate so much thrust, and due to less thrust, the speed of the plane was also less, and they couldn't even fly at high altitude. And the world's first jet engine was made in 1930. Through this technology a turbine draws air, compresses it, and then that compressed air is burnt by mixing it with fuel. After burning, the pressure inside the engine increases to a great extent, which pushes the aircraft forward rapidly. Compared to the normal engine, the weight of the jet engine is also less, and they are also more fuel efficient. Their thrust is also more, and their sound is also very less compared to piston engine. For example, if we talk about the engine of Air A320, so the engine alone sucks 1,250 kg of air inside it in a second. This air enters from the front side of the engine, and 1,250 kg means that if the engine is running, so it can easily drag anything that comes in front of it, in which there can be any luggage, a tree or a member or even a small car can be pulled. In this video you can see that an E-170 aircraft is standing in the parking lot and its engine is running. A phone from the hand of a crew member near the tunnel accidentally gets sucked into the engine, and immediately a fireball emerges from the other side. Now we talked about the pressure of the air going inside the jet engine and the pressure that comes out from the backside of the engine. This is called thrust. It is much more than the pressure entering the engine, about 100 times more. The thrust emanating from the engine of Air A320 produces a thrust of 1,27,000 kilograms. And talking about combining both the engines, so this thrust becomes 2,54,000 kilograms. This is as much thrust as the weight of an average train engine. That is, it would not be wrong to say that at the time of takeoff, if the train engine is placed behind the plane, so it can easily turn. You can guess it from this video, in which this Boeing 77 is standing for takeoff and it turned the whole truck standing behind it upside down. Apart from this, we have seen many such videos, in which tourists fly and fall on the beach near Sac Martin Airport due to jet engine thrust, out of which one person has also died so far. By watching these videos, we must have got a good idea of the thrust of the jet engine. To avoid these accidents, the airport authorities have made many SOPs that when to pull in front of the engine of the plane, can and how much distance can be maintained. The biggest package happens during loading because at that time the engine of the plane is also on, and luggage loading is also done from its front side. To avoid this danger, luggage is now loaded through automatic conveyor belt at modern airports. Apart from this, at the time of boating, a tunnel is installed which is directly attached to the door of the ship. Its purpose is not to provide luxury to the passengers, rather it is used to avoid accidents, and airport authorities have strict SOP that nothing should be lying in front of the engine at the time of plane voting, and when all the staff go to the side after doing their work, only then the engine should be started. This mark on the turbine of the plane engine is also applied for the same reason that during rotation we can easily see that the turbine is rotating. This is one work by which loss due to human error can be avoided. But what about birds? He is mindless, he cannot speak. According to an estimate, every year the aviation industry suffers a loss of $120 crore just because of birds. Aviation engineers and airport authorities have been looking for a solution to this problem for the last several years, but have failed so far. But it is not that efforts are not being made to keep the birds away from the plane. This is the reason that we do not see trees in the compound of airports, especially around the runway, because they are trees on which birds come and sit or make their nests. Airports are probably such a strange place where attempts are made to drive away birds at Mars level. Some where they are intimidated by firing gunshots, some where statues are erected, or some where the sounds of predatory animals are played on a loudspeaker. In many airports, hunting dogs and falcons are kept so that they do not allow any bird to enter the compound. Along with this, no such thing is left at the airports which attract the birds, like open ponds from where the birds can drink water. Even now robotic falcons are also being made using artificial intelligence which will keep other birds away from the airport. Now here you must be thinking that instead of being so worried, why don't you put a protective net on the engine of the plane itself? Due to this, not only birds but anything will not be able to enter the engine. Actually, these jet engines suck air in such a large quantity that if mesh or net is installed in front of them, then the airflow will be disturbed to a great extent. Apart from that, of course, the bird will not be able to go inside the engine, but due to the drag of the air, it will stick to this net, which will forcefully disturb the airflow. Most of the birds collide with the plane only during takeoff and landing because they cannot fly at high altitude, but according to reports, falcons have also been seen up to a height of 15,000 feet. And the species of duck is surprised at the height of 23,000 feet during migration. These are the birds for which nothing special has been done so far to keep them away from the plane. And you people will like and share this video a lot. Many thanks to you guys.